Hello and welcome to the 19 Minutes of Heaven we call the D1 Baseball Men's College World Series preview and pick show. I am your host, Michael Patrick Rooney, and today I'm not going to blow it, and we're going to actually do picks today because yesterday the host forgot to do that.
We choked.
It's always good to have a picks podcast without picks.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me. I was up with the bases loaded, and we had a backwards K. We are partnered with Wilson in the postseason, and we are thrilled about that. If you're in Omaha, Wilson's got the Omaha experience over in the Baseball Village. You've got limited edition products from incredible baseball brands, Evo Shield, DeMarini, Louisville Slugger, and Wilson. You can shop for bats, gloves, and gears. Again, that's the Omaha experience over here at the Baseball Village right next to the stadium. If you're not here, just go to evoshield.com/Omaha. We fixed that today. That'll be available for you all tournament long. So I've got the great Kendall Rogers here, Stephen Schock. I've got Joe Healy. Gentlemen, let's address the elephant in the room. And when I mean elephant, I mean gorgeous elephant. Stephen, we were over in the Wilson area yesterday, and you built or received or all the above a Dippin' Dots glove. Can you please tell us about that?
Yeah, so not officially Dippin' Dots because I don't know how trademarks and things like that work fully yet, but
that's very astute of you to bring that up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I'm CYA, cover your butt. But yeah, so they brought it out. It had all black laces and a gray web, I believe. Yeah. And one of the things you can do in the Omaha Experience store is pick out a different web and get it relaced. And awesome. Believe it or not, they let me relace about half this glove before I had to leave because back in college, I would relace and sell gloves for beer money, and so it was great to
Gatorade money.
yeah, Gatorade money, always good stuff.
Of course,
ramen noodle money.
Yeah, those sorts of things for the PB&Js. But it was really fun. So if you're out here and you want to check them out, they're awesome people. It's a really fun time over there.
Really good. Hey, let's move your mic up, Steven. So
move my mic up?
Yeah, there. Perfect. There you go.
Hey,
That's
can I give him some credit? Like, he's kind of rallied. Last night he was a little down after the UVA game.
Yeah, that's
but he's rallied. He looks like he's ready to roll.
Look,
he's got deep fever over here.
You go home from the game. If it doesn't go your way, you go home, you take your jersey off, you shower, then it's done.
That's right.
Can't do anything about it.
When we woke up this morning, it was done, officially done.
Yeah, and that's in the past.
This field, we could have some craziness.
No doubt. Especially in that bracket.
Yes.
Virginia is far from out of this thing.
So let's do this, boys. Let's review yesterday. Okay. Let's start with this. Coach Rooney went 0 for 2 in his picks, so that was great. That was awesome. I'm officially in the losers bracket. But so the first game, TCU kind of owns the first part of that game. And then this incredible comeback. And the thing about Oral Roberts is they earned every bit of it. I mean, the comeback was on hits. It was not on gifts. And then Blaze Brothers hits that home run. He's their 9-hole hitter. Now he's got a lot of extra base hits. I'll take your guys' comments right now. That was incredible. I didn't see that coming.
No, I think the really cool thing about that for ORU was, Cade Denton goes out there and doesn't pitch great. Like TCU gets on him a little bit. And despite that, their offense kind of picks him up. So I really like those pieces of this ORU team to where, hey, my All-American reliever doesn't have his best day. We're going to pick him up. And that's just a sign of just a really good team in general. So, yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I saw that coming. I thought when Cade Denton got hit a little bit, I thought TCU had won that game. And that was not the case. So give ORU a lot of credit.
Yep, no question. Joseph?
Yeah, a lot of times you can see those rallies kind of building and you start to count where you're going to be in the lineup when the tying run, go-ahead run comes up. But that one kind of caught me off guard where, Brothers comes to the plate and, he's got a lot of extra base hits. He's a guy who can run the ball out of the ballpark. But the idea that he was going to do that in that spot had not entered my mind yet.
Yeah.
Right? And so the ball goes up and it's just kind of it's just one of those very pure baseball moments where we love this sport and we watch this game because we see things that we don't expect and it surprises us and delights us. And that was a great example of that where it's just holy crap, I can't believe that just happened. So it was just a cool moment to start off the series.
Steven, I'll pose this to you, and it happened in both games. I thought coming into the postseason, we could have some crazy finishes because offense was so up in college baseball, but I didn't see a lot of teams with killer bullpens. One of the teams, one of my favorite bullpens isn't even here, Duke. So I thought that we would see that a lot in regionals and super regionals, but we saw it yesterday where it was really hard to get those last few outs.
Yeah, it's one of those things where winning 7, 8, 9 is the most important thing you can do because if you're going to win any innings, winning those innings typically bodes very well for your team. So you got to have that lockdown bullpen, but also when you're pitching in those late innings, there's that heightened focus. Like even if it's the bottom of the lineup, those guys are going to claw and fight and have good ABs, especially here in Omaha, because those are the teams that claw, fight their way back into games, and they're going to be the teams that are still standing. And you know, if you want to know who's going to win the College World Series, it's going to be the guys who win 7, 8, 9 the most.
Yep. That's a great point too, Stephen, because I hadn't thought of it until you just said it. But, you know, the teams that are here have very high belief factors, right? Like there's a lot of evidence to those kids, those players that, hey, you can come back and get any game. And we kind of saw that, like Oral Roberts, like I wrote them off, but they didn't write them off, you know? And so very interesting. Hey, let's get to the players and picks for today. So we'll start with the smart guys, Stanford versus Wake Forest. Okay. You know, the kids that couldn't get into Notre Dame. Did I say that or think that? Just kidding. The kids that couldn't get into Malvern Prep went to Stanford and Wake Forest. Just kidding.
When the ASU God speaks, we listen.
That's right.
Last night, someone referred to Rooney as the ASU God.
Yeah.
So
somebody who hopefully did not drive home. Somebody that jumped in an Uber shortly thereafter. So they shouldn't operate heavy machinery today either. All right. So we'll go around the horn. We'll pick 2 players, maybe one from each team, and then we'll go keys to the game. So KR, Stanford versus Wake. Give us a player each.
Yeah, I think for me, it looks like Stanford's going to start Joey Dixon. Like, he's got to be the player of this game for Stanford. I mean, against that Wake Forest lineup, that potent lineup top to bottom, they were just as we've used the kind of the word from last week, they were terrifying last week in that Super Regional. And Joey Dixon's going to have to pitch the game of his life today for Stanford to have a shot, because just when you look at their bullpen against Texas last weekend, it was not reliable. Like, Drew Dowell wasn't throwing strikes. Ryan Bruno wasn't throwing strikes. So Joey Dixon's got to give them a very, very good start today against a very good lineup.
Love it. Steven, a key or favorite player from this game?
I'm really excited for Brock Wilken, mainly because he has the opportunity to tie the BB Core home run record or to catch up to Jack Caglione and then potentially tie the BB Core record. But also, it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Brock Wilken.
I didn't know that.
Have a great birthday. Nice. Yeah.
Are they ahead of Cam Fisher now?
I believe so.
Fisher got stuck at 30. I thought. Does that sound right?
Sure.
I believe Brock is at 30, 31. Yeah. And then Jack.
I think one of his home runs from last week is still going.
Some of them should count as 2.
Yeah. I just thought it was so ironic that all those home runs went over the welcome to Deektown sign. It was like the balls were no longer welcome in Deektown. They were leaving Deektown.
Right. So. Can I just say that I'm really sad that Aaron Fitt is not here for Wake Forest's first CWS game since 1955.
He earned it. Fitzy, if you're watching, you earned Deke Day. We will celebrate Deke Day for you. So
I prefer to celebrate privately.
Nice.
All right, Joe, go ahead.
Yeah, give us a player, Joe.
I like how Kendall said Joey Dixon has to pitch the game of his life. Like, no pressure, kid. Like, have fun out there, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, Joey.
I will go with this is kind of cheating, but I will go with literally any Stanford bullpen pitcher because that's just been like kind of a roller coaster ride. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Even if Joey Dixon does pitch the game of his life, they're going to need some bullpen arms, right? And that's just been such a crapshoot this season about what they get out of the bullpen. So, you know, they're going to need to be able to string some outs together later in the game because, you know, Wake, even if that Stanford offense kind of gets rolling, Wake is going to be able to throw wave after wave after wave at them. So at some point, Stanford's going to have to start matching zeros.
Yep.
Hashtag Ryan Bruno.
Yeah. I mean, and the question becomes, you know, how confident when does David Esker feel confident using Ryan Bruno? You know, like you're kind of at this crossroads if you're David Esker where how deep can we go in this thing without Ryan Bruno? But how confident do I feel going with him?
I think the earlier you can get him out there, the better. Because I think if you're going to make a run in this thing, like he's got to be that dude. And if you're sitting there being like very like apprehensive about using him, then that's just gonna that's gonna make him even more kind of unsettled, so to speak.
So I'll just pick Rhett Lauder. You know, I think that's one of the fun matchups today. You know, Stanford, because that side of the bracket is so outrageously strong. Stanford has become the redheaded stepchild of the bracket, and they are in Omaha for the 3rd straight year.
Yeah.
And they are extremely offensive. So I think Rhett Lauder against the Stanford lineup, and then how's the park play? I think that's going to be very interesting. Give us a key to the game, Kendall.
Yeah, I just think Stanford starting pitching has got to give them a chance in this one. I would say the other thing, too, and I kind of pointed this out the other day on our preview pod, but Stanford's lineup against Rhett Lauder, because if you look back at last week, and Lucas Gordon for Texas had a lot of success throwing that changeup to Stanford's lineup. They swung through that changeup a lot, and Rhett Lauder has a plus changeup. So Rhett Lauder is a little better than Lucas Gordon, and if you swing through that changeup against him, you're going to have a long day offensively.
And who are you picking in this game? Wake Forest?
Wake Forest, of course.
I like it. Steven, who are you picking and why?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I'm going to pick Wake Forest because it's Brock's birthday. I still love you, Stanford. And look.
Was that really tough for you, though? You said that was a tough one.
Yes, because I love David Esker.
Yes,
I love those
Stanford,
guys.
your
Those guys
boys
are
from
awesome.
last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyle's not watching.
Look,
You can say that.
if the picks were who do you want to go skateboarding with, it's still pretty hard. But that one's leaning towards Stanford because they seem like good skaters. But
I feel like that's very important. Like, who would you rather skateboard with?
yeah, but at the end of the day, they could still win, even though I said I picked Wake.
Yeah,
I like it.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, what do you got?
I would
Joe?
also pick Stanford to go skateboarding with because they're more likely to have medical degrees, perhaps in the future. And so I would
Fall
need
off your
some
I don't know.
scooter.
Stanford
to do
and
some
that's
first aid.
Okay.
Yeah, for me in this game, it's which offense can kind of make things happen without the ball leaving the yard. I know this park plays more offensive than it used to, so the idea that it's a graveyard is just no longer really true. However, today, I don't know if you can see it, the people who are watching, like it's a little gray, the air is a little thicker, there could be some rain, maybe the ball doesn't jump quite as much today. Both of these teams hit a lot of long balls, so today, which one is able to manufacture runs, string hits together, and not get frustrated when you have fly balls get caught at the warning track?
Yep. I like that. I'm picking Wake just because I think they're more complete, but I do think that Stanford is very, very good. You know, this is not an easy assignment for Wake. It feels like I don't feel you feel like you have to pick Wake, kind of, but man, Stanford is really, really good. And I think you said, Joe, is that's where my brain is at, is which of these two very, very strong offenses can, impose their will on this game. So
I'm also picking Wake, by the way. I did the thing where I didn't.
Yeah,
just talked around it.
Yeah, that's well done.
Wake.
It was like kind of the fake in football. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
And we all. Well done.
That's
nothing
my
but
bad.
grass in front of me.
I think I rubbed off on you on that one. My bad.
Nice. We're still consuming we're picking teams based on who's the better skating team. Like I feel like I've got a hole in my prediction game right there. I'm not even thinking about skateboarding.
Can I give you two teams that will not be skateboarding? Tennessee and LSU.
Yes.
Does this feel like a game where you don't even need to know anything about Tennessee and LSU, but you can just tell they hate each other? Like, they're going to go on the field, like, you can just tell it's going to be chippy, it's going to be hard-nosed, like the two cultures, right?
So you mean that they wouldn't be skateboarding with each other, or they
No,
individually
they're
don't
like
skateboard?
they're the ones that are like at the skate rink and the one side over here and the one side's over here flipping birds,
like sharks in a jet
talking
situation.
Yeah, man, like let's meet in the middle of the rink.
Both of those fan bases executing the it's 4:00 somewhere this morning.
No, we were over here,
competing
so we were
already.
over here next to Rocco's, and LSU fans are already out here with like 40-ounce beers at 10:45 in the morning. So I think they think their game's at 1:00.
Like you can't drink all day if you don't start early.
That's right.
I mean?
Exactly.
So, hashtag compete.
Isn't that the state of Louisiana motto?
I can't speak for it, but I'm impressed. Yeah, the care factor is high.
This is going to be an awesome game, though.
Yes.
And I'm not going to pick Paul Skeens on this one. I'm going to pick Andrew Lindsey because I think, kind of like Joey Dixon against Wake Forest's lineup on this game, I think if Tennessee's going to have a shot to win this, they're going to have to run Paul Skeens' pitch count up early, which they can do. Teams have done that this year. The other thing is Andrew Lindsey's going to have to give them a strong start. I mean, he's a guy that's up to 97, 98 with his fastball. He can chew you up with his slider when he's on. And so I think for them, if he can give them, let's say 6 innings, and they can be within striking distance or have a lead or be tied and turn that thing over to Chase Burns, I think the complexion of this game changes a little bit because they have the advantage at that point if both starting pitchers are out.
Steven, who's a player to watch for you?
Hayden Travinsky.
Because
he's
got his own shirt.
Hashtag charisma.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at anyone on the team, they love that dude. There's a few guys more talented than him. Maybe. Sure. Is there a guy on the team that is more liked? I don't think so. Just because he spent the first half of the year just being an incredible teammate while Brady Neal was doing his thing, and then he got his opportunity and has really thrived.
No doubt.
And so I think when he goes, everybody else is just kind of happier. Yeah. And it's like, oh, Hayden's doing well. We're happy. We're going to do well now. So he can kind of ignite things that way, which I really like.
I noticed I was walking in the hotel yesterday from coming over here to do the taping at Wilson, and he was like on the porch reading a novel at the hotel by himself. So the fact that he's like who he is on the field and he's reading a novel off the field, I kind of love that.
Plus his facial hair is like 15 years on the California Highway Patrol level facial hair. Like it is just
Super
off
troopers.
the charts. Yeah, super
So
troopers.
clean.
He would like to see your license, sir.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you got? Who do you like here?
First of all, I was hoping Kendall would double down and be like, Andrew Lindsay is going to have to throw a no-hitter
Yes.
today
Oh,
if they're going to win.
Game of his life.
Really hoping he was going
Today's game of your life.
That would be
today.
that would be a quite bold prediction.
I'm going to go Christian Moore. He's
Yeah.
been really hot for Tennessee lately. It feels like he's maybe turned a little bit of a corner when, let's face it, first 3 quarters of the season or so, he's pretty inconsistent. The numbers looked good on an aggregate basis, but he'd have games where he just wasn't really present. But that seems to have changed, and him being the kind of guy that he is gives that lineup length, because I think he's been a little bit of a microcosm of Tennessee's lineup this season, where the numbers look pretty good and you like the individual talents, but there's just games where it doesn't work for whatever reason. And I'm not really smart enough to diagnose that, but there are just games that they just don't score, and I'm not really exactly sure why. So he's kind of changed that perception and changed the reality for that lineup. So Christian Moore is my guy.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go. Gosh, we're picking a lot of Tennessee guys, which is fascinating. But I'm going to go Chase Burns, because I think he's something that LSU doesn't have. Now, it depends on what version of Chase Burns we see, but, just a moment of truth reliever.
He looked pretty good in Hattiesburg.
Yeah.
I mean, that was unhittable.
Now, the one thing that was weird in Hattiesburg, though, is like the inning where he threw 102 and he's losing his mind on the mound, and then the velo came down fairly significantly. But when his velo comes down, it's to 96. So it's still but it'll be interesting. The question, I guess, becomes, does LSU's offense even let this become a bullpen game, or do they just, get after Andrew Lindsay, and then, Chase Burns is not usable in this game? Kendall, your pick, and why?
I'll go with LSU. I mean, it's just hard to pick against Paul Skeens in this offense on this stage. This is kind of what this team was expected to do. This is what they've been looking forward to all year long. I think they're going to be loose out here. I like LSU.
Steven?
I like LSU. I mean, all those reasons sound pretty good, right?
Yeah, and they're also they're clearly winning. Like, no offense to the Tennessee fans, because they're just not as numerous. But LSU's winning the tailgater.
Well,
There's no
they're
question in my
going to
mind.
be well hydrated.
Yeah, or dehydrated. Joe, who do you like here?
Water sales at the game are going to be just a lot of dry mouths in this game.
A little cotton mouth.
I will also go LSU. Paul Skeens, what's fascinating about him is he's just like, he's bulletproof from so many of the things that you try to do to get to a starting pitcher, right? Like, you can't really run his pitch count up because he'll throw 130 if he needs to. Like, he's just kind of, that doesn't affect him. And, he strikes guys out. He also doesn't really give up that much hard contact. A lot of guys who are high swing and miss pitchers also give up a lot of loud contact. Well, he doesn't. And so it's this great mystery of how you really beat him. He's not really had he's had some outings that were less good than others, but he really hasn't had that 1 or 2 disastrous outings that even good starting pitchers have. It's just kind of a fascinating deal. And so I'm kind of interested to see what he does in this situation. So LSU is my pick today.
Yeah, I'm picking LSU as well, just because in good conscience, I don't feel like I can pick against Paul Skeens.
Right.
He just, he's a generational guy. Like it's Mark Pryor, it's Steven Strasburg, it's that level of arm. Yeah. I will say though, what I'm most excited for is the environment in the stadium. I think it's going to be the single best environment we've ever had in the stadium. I think about Arkansas when they were here for the finals in 2018, and it was like this, wave. It felt like the whole state was here, and then Mississippi State was that way, and then Mississippi was that way last year, Ole Miss. But now it's 2 of those fan bases in the same stadium with the same level of excitement. So I'm really pumped to see what this place looks like tonight, because I think it's going to be an all-time great atmosphere.
For sure.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, all right. Well done, gentlemen. Excellent. We want to, again, say thanks to our friends at Wilson. If you're here, make sure you get over to the Omaha experience in the Baseball Village. You won't regret it. The gear, the swag is awesome. The glove is off the charts. They have a purple velvet glove too, by the way, which is like, if those were pants, I would wear them. I mean, like, it was just unbelievable, the stuff that they've got here. So that's it. We will be back tomorrow to do picks and a preview, and everyone enjoy the World Series.